Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
This podcast is brought to you by Digital Heaven, the hottest tools for the coolest apps.
Hi and welcome to Hot Tips. I'm Martin Baker. In this episode we'll be looking at some useful mouse scrolling tips for Final Cut Pro. So the most obvious advantage of having a mouse wheel is being able to scroll in the browser window. This makes it far quicker to find items within your project because there's no need to move the mouse over to the scroll bar first. So I'll just find a source clip and open it up into the viewer. Now you'll already know that you can drag in the scrubber bar to move the playhead. This is a great way to locate a frame in your source clip, but on longer clips it can become a little more tricky. However, if I hover the mouse over the scrubber bar or image area of the viewer, I can move the mouse wheel and jog through the source clip frame by frame. This works particularly well when editing dialogue because you can very quickly locate to the beginning of a word. This jogging tip also works on a sequence by moving the mouse into the image area or scrubber bar in the canvas or the timecode ruler down in the timeline window. Incidentally, holding down the Option key will gear up the mouse wheel and jog in larger steps. There's another nice feature in the timeline window which allows scrolling of the timeline from the mouse. If I move the mouse into the main tracks area and hold down the Shift key, then moving the mouse wheel scrolls the timeline view left and right. As before, adding the Option key will gear up and scroll in larger steps. It's also worth mentioning that the timeline can be scrolled during playback without stopping. Finally, you can use the mouse wheel to adjust slider and rotation controls in the viewer. So if I double click this clip and switch to the Motion tab, then I can move the mouse over the scale slider and scroll the wheel to change that parameter. And just like the jogging and timeline scrolling, holding down the Option key will gear up and change the parameter in larger steps. Now this tip works across all tabs in the viewer which have slider and rotation controls, including the Audio tab, Filters tab, Motion tab as we've just seen, and also the Controls tab of video generators. But where I find mouse scrolling really becomes useful is with the color corrector filters. It's far quicker to adjust the blacks, mids and whites levels using the mouse wheel rather than having to grab the sliders, and somehow it seems to make the colour correction process a far more tactile experience. That wraps things up for this time. Don't forget you can get all future episodes of Hot Tips automatically by subscribing to the video podcast from our website. Thanks for watching.
Digital Heaven, the hottest tools for the coolest apps. Find out more at digitalheaven.co.uk.
Counting out.